Hello, everybody, and welcome to Space Daily. I am Gabriel, and today we are going to be watching the launch of the Delta IV Heavy carrying the NROL-82 launch, or satellite. Sorry. So we had a little bit of a late start here. I just realized that was happening not so long ago. So what I am going to do is it's accidentally closed something that I needed, but we'll reopen it. But thank you all for joining me here today. We are hoping for a launch soon, so yeah. Let's see if this is going to work. Trying to share my screen with something else, and it won't. So what I am going to do is I am going to where is it? Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to X out of OBS, which is what I'm currently using, but oh, perfect, there it is. I'm going to get this screen of that, and I'm going to exit this. I'm going to move that here. There we go. I'm going to try this again. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Got myself here. Let me know if you guys can see it. Okay, what we are going to do here is get just me. Let's see, wrong thing. And that didn't work. It didn't say what I wanted to do. Whatever. Still improvising here, guys. Let's hope for a launch in 30 minutes. Okay. I thought the launch was earlier than that, but whatever. Sorry about this, guys. Okay. So yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to just me and okay. Sorry about this. Okay. Thank you all for joining us. If you're just joining us. Today we are going to be watching the launch and landing of NROL-82. Which no, not you. Okay, which we are hoping for a successful launch of that. So yeah. We're going back to just me. Okay, so we're kind of improvising here, but thank you for joining us. Sorry if I'm a little bit small. It's because we are having some issues, but I'm just okay. So we are, everything's working somehow. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. So, okay, I'm gonna put up a banner for you guys. Nope, no problem. the delta for heavy rocket carrying the NROL-82 satellite. Let's put some news. We okay. There we go. Okay. So yeah, thank you all for joining us. For today's launch of NROL-82 on board the Delta IV Heavy. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about. Okay, let's not talk about the. Let's not talk about Delta IV Heavy, which has had some grounding in the past, or which has had some grounding in the past couple of launch attempts. In the last launch attempt, for NRL, I think it was NROL-82, which is this one. First I noticed some issues with the engine, which we are hoping that they have fixed. Which we're hoping that they have fixed, and I'm pretty sure they have fixed it. And if it's not fixed, then we'll have to have a launch a little bit later on. Although they also experienced some problems with the launch tower, which had a problem with the retracting arm, which they are working on, and which they are working on, and they have fixed, and which they have fixed, and they are working on, which they have fixed, and let's talk a little bit about the NROL satellites. NROL stands for the NROL satellites are built by NRO, which stands for National Reconnaissance Office, and NROL, I think, stands for National Reconnaissance. But NRO stands for National Reconnaissance. I do not know what the O stands for. Maybe obligatory or something. Definitely something. Yeah. So yeah, it stands for National Reconnaissance Office. And NROL stands for National Reconnaissance Office Launch. So basically, it's their launch, and this one, NROL-82, is not the 82nd one, because that'd be a little bit much, but it is one of them. We are currently unsure about how many satellites are on board. It's a spy satellite or spy satellites. We really don't know yet. That really, determines. Yeah, they're definitely not 82 of them. There are many, and there are many that are not 82, because there have been NROL 101. I think I did a live stream of that. There have been many other ones, but yeah. I'm gonna show you guys a mission profile. So if I go back here, you just go back. Okay, I'm pulling up the mission profile here. Alright, so
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket. At T-minus 14 seconds, the launch table HBOs ignite to burn off excess hydrogen injected into the flame duct. At T-minus 7 seconds, the starboard Delta IV ROFI lights igniting its RS-68A engine. 2 seconds later, the center and port RS-68A engines ignite, generating more than 2.1 million pounds of total thrust to lift the rocket off the pad. This staggered engine start mitigates the fireball created by the hydrogen burning Delta IV Heavy. Shortly after liftoff, Delta IV begins a pitch over to attain the proper flight path while minimizing the pressure the vehicle experiences during flight. The Delta IV reaches Mach 1 at the speed of sound at 1 minute 21 seconds. At 3 minutes 56 seconds, the port and starboard booster engines shut down. 2 seconds later, the port and starboard boosters are jettisoned to shed their weight. The center booster engine then throttles to full power to maximize performance against gravity losses. Approaching main engine cutoff, Delta IV is burning propellant at a rate of 1,945 pounds, or 882 kilograms per second, traveling at more than 12,725 miles, or 20,479 kilometers per hour, located 130 miles, 209 kilometers in altitude, and 350 miles, or 563 kilometers downrange. At 5 minutes 37 seconds, propellant levels deplete, and the main engine shuts down. 7 seconds later, Delta IV separation system activates to release the first stage. The vehicle now weighs approximately 7% of what it did at liftoff. At 5 minutes 57 seconds, Delta Cryogenic Second Stage, or DCSS main engine ignites to carry the payload to orbit. During ascent, NROL-82 is protected inside a 5-meter diameter payload fairing. At approximately 6 minutes 7 seconds, the payload fairing is jettisoned. Delta IV continues its national security mission following payload fairing jettison.
they'll probably end the stream after the payload jettison because it's a top secret mission, so they're probably going to stop it there. But that's probably when we're going to have to stop our stream. So yeah, we should be starting soon, hopefully. So if you're enjoying our stream, please go ahead and give it a like. And we're hoping for a launch soon to come. Okay, any questions, feel free to write in the chat. I'll happily answer them. And yeah, so in case you're just joining us, oh, there we go, ULA. Alright, ULA has started the stream, which means that we will be switching up to that in just a couple seconds. But thank you all for joining us. We just watched the mission profile for just joining us. Just close this a little bit. There we go. So yeah. Any questions? Once again, feel free to write in the chat. But we are hoping for a launch in just under 20 minutes. So yeah. There we go.
3, 2, have ignition of the RS-68A main engine, and we have liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket. Execute command indication spacecraft separation.
Space Launch Complex 6, a Delta IV Heavy rocket is fueled and ready to launch the NROL-82 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office. Good afternoon and welcome to Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. I'm I'm Caroline Kirk, a systems engineer with ULA. Liftoff is currently planned for 1:47 p.m. Pacific, and the launch team is not working any issues at this time. Approximately 15 minutes ago, the launch count entered a planned hold. We have 2 planned holds in today's 9.5-hour launch count. These planned holds give our team additional time to resolve any issues that come up prior to entering the terminal count. At the request of our customer, today's live mission coverage will conclude following payload fairing jettison, scheduled to occur just over 6 minutes after liftoff. In addition to watching our webcast, you can follow live mission progress at ulalaunch.com.
So the reason why it says T-minus 4 minutes, and they just said that we're
First
launching.
Lieutenant Max Rush, the 30th Space Wing's weather officer, recently briefed the weather conditions here at Vandenberg Air Force Base. Here's what we're seeing. The probability of violating launch constraints is 40%, the ground winds are 10 to 15 knots out of the northwest, and the temperature is 55 degrees Fahrenheit. So the weather is within the launch commit criteria and looks favorable for our planned T0 at 1:47 p.m. Pacific.
So the reason why it says T-minus 4 minutes, and they said that they're launching at 4:27 or 4:47 Eastern, is because
Today's flight will head south away from our launch pad here at Vandenberg Air Force Base. Let's take a look at what else we can expect to see.
Okay, so we just watched this, so I'll mute it. But so the reason why it said T-minus 4 minutes and it was launching at 4:47 Eastern is because they're holding the count, and the way that ULA does it is different from most other companies. They hold the count. They hold the count at they hold the count hold the count like planned, and if they notice anything while they're holding the count, which SpaceX does while the clock is running, because I normally do SpaceX streams, they normally have it running, so like they do the checkouts while it's running, and for ULA they do the checkouts before they enter terminal count, and if they see anything strange, that way they can push back the launch instead of SpaceX having to pause the countdown clock and reset it a little bit later so that they can figure out whatever is going on. So yeah, let's go ahead and listen back in, even though we already know what happened here. If you are watching.
Entering the
Approaching main engine cutoff. Delta IV is burning propellant at a rate of 1,945 pounds, or 882 kilograms per second, traveling at more than 12,725 miles, or 20,479 kilometers per hour, and located 130 miles, or 209 kilometers in altitude, and 350 miles, or 560 kilometers down range. At 5 minutes 37 seconds, propellant levels deplete, and the main engine shuts down. 7 seconds later, Delta IV separation system activates to release the first stage. The vehicle now weighs approximately 7% of what it did at liftoff. At 5 minutes 57 seconds, Delta cryogenic second stage, or DCSS main engine ignites to carry the payload to orbit. During ascent, NROL-82 is protected inside a 5-meter diameter payload fairing. At approximately 6 minutes 7 seconds, the payload,
so like I suggested earlier, after the payload separates,
Delta IV continues its national security mission following payload fairing jettison.
Yeah, it will continue it, although we're going to have to end our stream because they're going to be ending their stream because that's what the customer wants. That's what, because it's the top secret spy satellite.
After today's liftoff, our viewers watching from Southern California may be able to see the Delta IV Heavy in flight. And, as you can see from this graphic, those of you located in Los Angeles and the surrounding areas might even see port and starboard booster separation at approximately L+4 minutes. To get a closer look at this graphic, check out @ULA Launch on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. ULA is using the Delta IV Heavy configuration to launch the NROL-82 mission. This is the 13th Delta IV Heavy launch and ULA's 143rd mission. Built in Decatur, Alabama, the Delta IV Heavy is the largest and most powerful configuration in the ULA fleet. It's comprised of 3 common booster cores, each powered by Aerojet Rocketdyne RS-68A engines, and a Delta cryogenic second stage, powered by an Aerojet Rocketdyne RL-10B2 engine. The satellite is protected during ascent by a 5-meter diameter payload fairing. Events leading to launch began on February 16th, when the 3 Delta boosters were lifted into their vertical position here at Slick 6. Then, on March 31st, the NROL-82 spacecraft, encapsulated inside the payload fairing, was transported to the Mobile Service Tower at Space Launch Complex 6 and mated to the Delta IV rocket. On Saturday, the Mobile Assembly Shelter, or MAS, was moved to its launch position. The MAS protects the Delta IV rocket from the wind and fog, so common to its location here on California's Pacific coast. At approximately 5 a.m. this morning, final preparations began at Space Launch Complex 6. Using 40 hydraulic cylinders at pressures nearing 3,500 psi, the MST was raised 8 inches and rolled back, revealing the Delta IV launch vehicle. At 100 feet by 100 feet by 300 feet, the MST is as tall as a football field is long, as wide as the length of a basketball court, and weighs about 10 million pounds. Using a carriage transporter system traveling at about a quarter mile per hour, it takes about 25 minutes to roll the MST to its launch position 300 feet east of the rocket. The Delta IV Heavy stands 233 feet tall, or about 23 stories, and weighs about 1.6 million pounds fully fueled. The 3 Delta IV RS-68A main engines produce more than 2 million pounds of thrust at liftoff.
Roger. That was gas Helsing. So, establish scan pattern 140. Roger.
So they might have...
USC, Helsing.
I think they're doing go no-go call.
For step 1180, verify base bending moment instrumentation is active and data is valid. Roger. OLLC, that one. I'll be utilizing placard 6L.
Okay.
Today's launch is for the National Reconnaissance Office, or NRO. This is ULA's 31st launch for the NRO and 9th use of the Delta IV Heavy for the NRO. The NRO is a joint organization engaged in the research and development, acquisition, launch, and operation of innovative overhead reconnaissance systems necessary to meet the needs of the intelligence community and the Department of Defense. The NRO is recognized for its transformational intelligence collection systems that are used to develop highly accurate military targeting data, support international peacekeeping and humanitarian relief operations, and to assess the impact of natural disasters. The NRO provided the artwork we see on today's payload ferry. The details on today's artwork were inspired by a World War II fighter pilot who was awarded the Medal of Honor, a Navy Cross, and Purple Heart for heroism and dedication, and who had ace fighter pilot skills. This patriot was Gregory.
I'm doing the
Boynton,
NROL-82 right now.
This logo was designed to commemorate the
You can
men
join. I'll send you a
and
StreamYard link.
sacrifices that have been made to protect America. The artwork features an eagle, symbolizing freedom, wearing traditional World War II flight gear.
Yeah, I'll send you the
Behind eagle
StreamYard.
is an F-4U Corsair, the aircraft that Patrick Boynton flew while in the Marine Corps. Additionally, we have the Latin phrase "Tacti Libertatis Custodique," which translates to "Silent Guardians of Freedom." Below the mission artwork, there is an additional patch recognizing the NRO's 60th anniversary this year.
Okay, we should be having my friend join us soon. Sorry about that. And our friend here is Nathan.
NROL-82 is ULA's 90th National Security Mission. Gary Wentz, Vice President of Government and Commercial Programs, talks about the significance of these missions.
We're really honored to be here today launching our 90th mission for our national security defense customer as we begin the celebration of the National Reconnaissance Office's 60th anniversary. National security satellites range everything from GPS to intelligence sources that our decision makers use to direct and focus our warfighters in defending our country. A good example of a national security space satellite would be something like a GPS system. It was previously used to locate fighters in their domain and direct them in the area of a target. And since then, that capability has evolved in being used by citizens across the world. Launching these critical payloads for our national security defense customer is extremely important. But there's a lot of challenges. You have to have a team that's focused with a national security background and a big cleared. You have multiple payloads that are coming together with unique requirements to test and check out before launching. We focus on vertical integration to give that spacecraft a similar environment on the ground as it'll see during ascent headed to orbit. And then we actually deploy them at different locations because they serve different functions. We're really looking forward to starting with our new launch vehicle, the Vulcan Centaur, and actually be able to start integrating some of these critical payloads on that platform and launching here in the near future.
Roger. OSM, verify the whole fire switches and the proceed position.
Today's flight is dedicated to frontline workers who have been vital to the fight against COVID-19. This mission is also in memory of 2 NRO teammates. A few moments ago, Mission Director Colonel Chad Davis remembered these friends and colleagues, Lisa Wilson and Ross Kobayashi. Let's listen in.
Today's launch is dedicated to the memory of past NRO teammates, notably including Lisa Wilson, engineer, friend, wife, mother, and grandmother, who for 32 years provided unbounded support and technical direction for critical space lift missions, resulting in precise orbital insertion of satellite vehicles. Lisa's achievements are to be remembered as an example of service of the freedoms we stand for.
Hello. Hello guys, we've got Nathan here with us. You can only hear him right now, but he is on and he is talking.
Are you using the virtual camera in OBS?
Yeah, I'm using OBS right
Mine always lags.
yeah, but we are T-minus like 8 minutes. It says T-minus 4 minutes and holding because, like I said earlier, the way that ULA does it is they hold their count while they go through the checkouts instead of SpaceX running the count while they go through their checkouts. So they're a little bit different.
Well, I think it's most companies don't do that.
Yeah, most companies. SpaceX is just one of them.
But another thing to add, this is a classified mission, so we won't know everything about this. But of course, it's probably it's going to the polar orbit. It's probably they're probably just trying to view things with this and using communications.
Yeah. So let's listen in to the go no go poll, which we should have any second now. You see the checklist
Barney
up there.
performs the final poll of the launch team.
Okay. We'll go.
Status check received with terminal count. First station propulsion. Go. Hydraulics. Go. Locks. Go.
Next pillar.
LH2. Go. Second station.
The shape of a cube.
Go. LH2.
The problem with pillows is that you're trying to fit a
Airborne. Go. Ground. Go. Facility. Go. RFFTS. Go. Flight control. Go. COM. Go. GCQ. Go. Operation support. Go.
So
Umbilical.
so just to add, Gabriel, what these are doing, some of these mean, so the propulsion, the hydraulics, these are parts of the rocket that are very pivotal to see if it launched. So if the flight control doesn't work, they're gonna break. So they check to see a bunch of times if it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Cleared to proceed. Launch director. Launch vehicle is ready to launch. Mission director. You have permission to launch.
Proceeding with the count. L-6 minutes. ALC. Verified T0 is set for 20:47:00 Zulu.
Verified.
MEQ established swing arm lock pins full. Active.
Polling is complete and the launch team has given the go for launch. The countdown will resume approximately 2 minutes from now. At T-minus 4 minutes and counting, we will enter the terminal count and begin securing the second stage liquid oxygen tank. At
So now
T-minus
they're in their final count, and they should be ready to go in about T-minus 4 minutes.
Yep.
Gabriel, in my virtual camera, I put the countdown. So if you want to put me on the screen in a minute, you can do that.
Yeah. Although
All right, I'm just setting up the countdown.
Oh, okay. I can also create.
Yeah, but I got it.
Okay. Although it's kind of complicated, I might not be able to do it. It says T-minus.
Pressurized and confirms CBC,
Says it over there.
and FTS.
Yeah, but
battery.
I'm making it full.
At T-minus 1 minute and 20 seconds, the team will begin securing the second stage liquid hydrogen tank. At T-minus 60 seconds, Western range readiness is verified. At T-minus 50 seconds, the DCSS liquid hydrogen tank is secured at flight level. At T-minus 15 seconds, the launch table HBOs are ignited at the base of the vehicle to burn off excess hydrogen. At T-minus 7 seconds, the starboard CBC engine is ignited. At T-minus 5 seconds, the port and center CBC engines are ignited. Liftoff will occur at T0.
So as you heard there, that's just explaining what's going to happen.
Yep. We're waiting for the
This is Delta
clock to
mission
continue.
control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. We anticipate releasing the hold in just a few moments.
So again, they're holding to make sure everything is a go. And what's the thing about this, they have a permit to launch for a while now. I think it was from 1 Eastern to about 6 Eastern. So they have time if they...
At 1:47 p.m. Pacific time.
Yep.
And
So
we
they've
have a-
released they've released the hold, and we're now in terminal count, which
Lock secure at flight level.
okay. So the LOX, which is the oxidizer for today's flight, which stands for liquid oxygen, is secured, which means that it will not leak and it is ready for launch, and it's right where the engine is, so that at T-minus 5 minutes, it's going to release that, or T-minus 5 seconds, it's going to release it, and it'll mix with the fuel, and that will cause an explosion, which is basically just
T-minus 3 minutes, 7 seconds.
which is basically just the explosion is basically just the engine igniting, and that will cause liftoff at T0 when the clamps let go and the engines are fully running. So T-minus 52 seconds now till launch.
2:49.
So I just put on the countdown, as you can see.
Yeah, it's a little bit behind.
Yeah, that's going to happen, but this is just tentative.
Wait,
Yeah.
Actually, no, it's pretty good. It's about half a second, or a second and a half off.
Yeah.
So Nathan's our countdown guy.
Pressure at flight level.
Pressure is at flight level, which is what you need for flight. So NROL-82 is getting ready to launch in about T-minus 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Again, once they launch, they're launching to polar orbit, which is why they're not launching from Florida. To launch from polar orbit, you have to do a certain procedures, which you have to launch from Vandenberg, just so you reach the right apogee and area.
Yep. Okay.
1:40. FPS launch enabled. 1:37.
Okay, launch is enabled. Flight termination system launch is enabled. So, in case of an emergency, FTS, which is flight termination system.
T-minus 90 seconds.
Been
The
able.
launch vehicle, payload, ground systems, and Western range.
Nathan,
go for
the-
launch.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting it.
Okay.
FPS count started.
Flight termination count has started, which means that in case of the emergency, the flight termination system knows not to go off on the launch pad, which will cause more issues with the launch pad, which we actually have seen in the past, sadly.
T-minus 1 minute.
1 minute and counting.
Mexico. Rock, report range status. Rock, range is green.
Okay, so the range is go. T-minus about 45 seconds.
Yep, everything looking good again here at the NROL-82 launch. This is one of the final launches of the Delta IV Heavy, which will be replaced by the Vulcan in pretty short time, so we won't be seeing a lot. We'll talk about that after this, but we should be good to go.
Go NROL-82.
All right, they're ready to go. They should be launching any second now.
Okay.
15 seconds.
15 seconds.
Go for you guys.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Ignition.
Did you see that? That's okay. That's them lighting the charge.
Liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket carrying the NROL-82 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office.
So there goes currently the second most powerful rocket in use. Bringing its the NROL-82 rocket. Mach 1 will be happening at T plus 1 minute and 11 seconds, I think. And then we'll have the port and starboard booster jettisoning, booster engine cutoff, and then the first stage separation, and then we'll have the
booster is now throttling down to the partial thrust level.
Okay, so they're throttling down the booster so that
Thrust achieved.
they'll save some
You are
fuel.
hearing the voice of Rob Kessel.
And as you can see, the picture looks a little bit laggy, but that's actually because the cameras that ULA uses is they take a picture every 0.25 seconds because it saves much transmission, and they don't want to rely everything on their cameras because they have these advanced things which can tell exactly where they are as they're starting to turn a little bit so they can reach apogee and then reach the right orbit.
So it looks like they are they have
Now,
rolled
T plus 80
successfully.
seconds, vehicle is now passing through max Q, maximum dynamic pressure.
Okay, max Q.
Mach 1, vehicle is now supersonic.
Okay, we've got Mach 1. The vehicle is now supersonic, like you just said. And we're going nice
RST
and
looks
fast.
healthy at this time.
So the engines look healthy at the time, at this time.
And one thing just for everyone to know, we won't be able to show, well, ULA won't be showing once they reach to space, which is kind of a bummer, but this is a classified mission by the military.
Yeah.
Second stage, reaction control system pressurization valve has now opened.
Okay, RCS, probably sounds a little
Now,
more familiar.
125 seconds into flight.
And the RCS are these little thrusters, which use very little fuel to put them to the right position so they can, again, reach polar orbit. It's a little bit harder to reach polar orbit, but they can do many different things from there as compared to low Earth orbit.
Vehicle body rates are nominal.
Okay, so as you can tell, they just rolled a little bit to get them going in the right direction. And they're off the ground.
3 minutes remain in the booster phase of flight.
Okay.
Delta
There's
4 rocket now weighs just 1/2 of what it did at liftoff, burning propellant at a rate of almost 5,000 pounds per second.
approaching.
1 minute until port and starboard booster engine cutoff.
That's what I was just going to say. So after that, we'll have booster engine cutoff, which is the main engine, as SpaceX calls it, main engine
Vehicle
cutoff.
systems look healthy at this time. The attitude control system, the autopilot has controlled all vehicle body rates. Near zero.
So what we heard there is that they're giving everything to the autopilot, which means that everything is fully autonomously controlled. It usually is autonomously controlled, but if they need to abort or manual abort, they can, but now it's being sent to the auto abort system, which knows anything to happen to abort and blow up the rocket, but everything is good.
Down to the partial thrust level.
Okay, so they're getting ready for booster engine cutoff.
Strap-on booster cutoff.
Okay,
And separation of the strap-on boosters.
strap-on booster cutoff and
The booster
separate.
is now throttling back up.
Okay, we've
As you
got-
can see, those boosters will burn up in the atmosphere. And many people think, well, if lots of these space companies are trying to save the planet, what is this going to do? This actually has a smaller impact, I read here, than than oil and gas. So them blowing it up into the atmosphere won't do that much pressure to the ozone layer, if you were wondering.
Okay, I actually didn't know that. That's very
Yeah,
interesting.
I had to do that for a science project.
1 minute remaining in the booster phase of flight. Upper stage fuel system has begun the boost phase kill down sequence. Booster performance continues to look good at this time.
So now it's being controlled by the main engine, which means that that central core, which is the most fuel, is powering it, the two side boosters, to help it get off and not to put all the stress on that central booster, have been put away.
Nathan, can you send it to me?
I'm not sending you anything. I'm just putting on my virtual camera.
Oh, okay.
Throttling down.
Okay, booster is now throttling down as we prepare for booster engine
We have
cutoff.
Pico. First stage main engine cutoff.
All right, that means they just cut off the first engine, which means it'll separate in a couple of seconds. As
And
there it is,
You got it.
separation of the first booster.
Reset on the all 10.
Okay, so they're going to ignite the engines. They're going to do fairing separation, and then
We have ignition on the all 10. That's one.
All right, ignition of that second engine. That's the Centaur stage, which is known for ULA of what they use, and there's fairing separation, and they are going to black out the screen so we can't see the classified payload. That's the nature of these payloads, especially the Delta IV Heavy.
Its 60th anniversary. From its inception in 1961, the NRO has used its incredible intelligence collection capabilities to meet the nation's challenges. Let's take a look back at the agency that has pushed the envelope of U.S. space-based intelligence collection with courage and ingenuity.
so let's hear a little bit about NRO, and then
After this, we're going to show you what's going on in Boca Chica, which we'll talk about later.
Thanks to our heritage, the NRO today has an unrivaled constellation of advanced overhead reconnaissance systems that help protect our nation 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. As part of our anniversary celebration, the NRO's Center for the Study of National Reconnaissance has put together a year-long program highlighting key events and innovations that shaped the NRO's past, present, and future. In a moment, I'll share some of those historic milestones with you, but be sure to follow us on social media for more 60th anniversary content. When we think about satellites today and the near real-time digital data that NRO overhead systems provide, it's hard to believe that the first overhead reconnaissance efforts relied on camera film and balloons. One of the earliest film return reconnaissance efforts was called Genetrix. In 1956, the U.S. Air Force began launching high-altitude balloons from Europe and Turkey that would sail across Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union, taking pictures along the way as they floated by. Then when they got out over the Pacific, the Air Force retrieved the balloons from midair in C-119 aircraft. This recovery experience was invaluable a few years later for the Corona program. Corona took aerial recovery a step further because the film was ejected from the satellite instead of floating along.
And just a little thing, the Corona program had nothing to do with the current virus that's going on. It was made well before COVID-19 was diagnosed.
yeah, Corona meaning king.
Parachute represents one of the critical innovations that brought the NRO from 1961 up to today. Another enduring legacy is our history as both a member of the intelligence community and the Department of Defense. In the late 1950s, all three military services, as well as the CIA, were involved in trying to launch satellites, each for their own unique purposes. By the time President Kennedy took office in 1961, it was clear that all of these various efforts would be more effective and efficient if they were managed within one single organization to control budgets and facilitate coordination. So on September 6, 1961, CIA and the DoD signed an agreement to form the jointly managed National Reconnaissance Office to run the National Reconnaissance Program. As a result of our unique position, NRO for 6 decades has worked with our DoD and IC partners to inject advanced capabilities into our operations to deliver critical intelligence to policymakers and warfighters worldwide. We work with our mission partners, including NGA, NSA, CIA, DIA, Space Command, Space Force, to provide global situational awareness to government and civilian agencies. Today's NROL-82 mission launch represents not just years of planning and collaboration for the specific mission, but a 6-decade legacy of innovation and reconnaissance.
Range train, launching in. We have main engine ignition, 2, 1, and liftoff. Liftoff of United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket.
When the nation needs eyes and ears where no other collectors can reach, it turns to the NRO.
And that concludes our part of the coverage for this launch. But again, this is Space Night in America, and we're going to be showing you what is going on a little southward of there in Texas as SpaceX is doing a static fire Starship SN-15. So if Gabriel, could you full screen my SN-15?
Yeah, there you go.
And just remove my names. So,
Yeah, okay. How do you do that?
You go into your settings and it should say show name somehow. But anyways, SN-15 is SpaceX's Starship prototype. We've done so much on Starship, but Starship is the replacement for the Falcon 9. It's going to be fully reusable, 2 stages. Both stages can land. It's going to be taking us to the moon, and actually won the contract for the Artemis program to take us to the moon. So this is really pivotal, all of these, because they failed on all of their attempts. So, Gabriel, can you tell us about the past attempts of Starship?
Yeah, the first one was SN8, which hit the ground with too much velocity because one of the tanks lost pressure. And then the second one, SN9, failed because of a failure to reignite one of the engines. SN10 failed because because it lost pressure on one of the other tanks and hit the ground with too much velocity, and it actually landed, but it blew up like 8 minutes after. And then SN11 failed. Looks like we lost Nathan. Oh, there we go. So SN11 failed because it lost, or because SN11 failed because of a methane leak on one of the engines.
I mean, SN11, I could just tell from the moment I turned on the Space Daily stream, I could tell that it wasn't going to happen. I mean, they launched it at 6 a.m. in the morning. There was fog. Okay, I thought maybe they can figure it out, but then the pieces were falling. I mean, that really showed that SpaceX is not inevitable, and I think it kind of gave a sense that SpaceX can't just launch one test and do it again, because actually for SN-15, they only did one static fire. I mean, they are going to do one static fire for this, but I think this is really giving Elon Musk and SpaceX that they need to not try to make like a new version or anything, but to really focus on getting it off the launch pad and being able to launch it by 2022, which is their goal to launch a Starship. I don't think it's happening. I think that NASA's going to have to rely on the Falcon 9 and the Falcon Heavy. But Gabriel, what's your take on that? Do you think Starship will ultimately fail?
Sorry, So yeah, to be honest, I kind of think that Starship, I don't think it will ultimately fail. I think it will fail kind of in the end. So like what I mean is
what were you saying?
So what I think will happen is by the end of I don't know. I think that will take a while, but eventually they will succeed. I think the updates won't be as big when it comes to fixing it. The SN-15 series for SN-20, and if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I mean SN-15 is different than SN-15 is
SN-15 is completely different than SN-9, yeah. SN-10, and SN-11. I think they added, what was it? It's bigger?
I don't think it's bigger. I think they've just fixed some of the problems with, I think, more room for helium to pressurize the tanks, and more room for and I think they fixed the methane leak.
Yeah, and just to add with this, the pad has just been cleared, and the road looks as if it'll be closed any minute. I'm going to switch back to the live view there. Anything to add, Gabriel? I'm viewing Lab Padre, so if you want, you can check on the left side what they're saying. But again, what they're going to do is they're going to ignite the engines of Starship SN-15, but it's not going to launch into the air. This is just to check if the engines are going to work.
Wrong. Trying to. Sorry, I'm trying to work on something.
Yeah, it's fine. But let's talk more about space since I heard your space show was canceled. What happened?
Yeah, so we had decided to stop our weekly podcasts, and we're going to try and move only to live streams whenever we can. But
yeah, and actually, speaking about live streams and stuff, if you go to Space Today's channel, Space Daily and Space Today are basically the same channels. We do very similar things. But Space Today has started a show called The Hop Update, where we talk about Starship and SpaceX's Starship test program. We had one episode, and the next one should be coming out in the next week. I've just been really busy with some stuff, and we hope to bring you some more content in June. But over the summer, we're going to be busy with no videos. So, yeah.
Okay. Trying to think of other stuff. Let's take a look at our launch schedule coming up and see what ones I might be able to do and what Nathan will be able to do. So,
the road's closed and the pad's clear, so.
Okay, so we're hoping for a static fire. Nathan, I'm gonna have to leave at 5:30, but might allow you to stay on. Okay. Doesn't look, well, there's our next launch is the Long March 6. Oh, is that venting? Let me switch over to Nathan. Oh, looks like he might have gotten kicked out. But anyway, let's go continue talking about our upcoming launch schedule. We've got Long March 6 launching the Quilu 1 and Quilu 4 satellites at 11:20 p.m. Eastern Time. We've got, that's on April 26th. On April 28th, the Falcon 9 will launch Starlink version 1, launch 24, at Slick 40, at 12:05 a.m. Eastern Time. Don't want to wake up that early. On April 28th, there will be a Vega Vedas Neo 3 launch. After the Vega C failed pretty recently. I think I did a live stream of that. I was surprised to hear that it failed because I was doing a live stream and everything was looking good. I'm surprised, to be honest. Oopsie, there. Then we've got the Long March 5B carrying the Tanhe 1, which is a core module for this Chinese space station in low Earth orbit, and that will be launching April 29th, and that's it for the rest of the month. So, yeah, I'm gonna try and pull up. Sorry about that. Let's see if I can. Fire of SN-15. Okay. So yeah, it isn't showing anything as of right now. Okay, so let me share my screen to that. I'm going to see what happened to Nathan. Let's see if we get him back. But we're going to take a break. I'll leave you with a live view here. Yeah. So we have Nathan with us, right over here. You can't see him, but he sees what's going on here. I'm gonna pull up live view. Of which one should I do, Nathan?
Launchpad. Launchpad. That's close.
Okay. So our current.
You can just set your. You know how you have that stand where you can hold it. You can just.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just. I'm gonna share that screen. Okay. This is in courtesy of Lab Padre, who kindly gives us that space today.
Speaking about space today, we're excited. We're going to try to see a launch once. I believe there's a launch from Virginia, and we'll be able to do it. Or we are. You can. Someone saw it from Coney Island, so you should try to see that. But
yep.
We'll talk about that off stream. But again, this is the Starship static fire.
Yep.
They should be launching anytime soon. I have to go at 5:30.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, we're gonna end the stream in 15 minutes if we don't have a static fire. Then we don't have a static fire. But SN17 and SN20 are currently under construction. It's possible they scrapped 18 and 19. But we haven't launched SM15 yet, so we don't know. They don't know if
and speaking, just to kind of continue on the topic before, I think SpaceX is moving too fast. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
I mean, like, they should be cautious, but not to the point where, like, Blue Origin is careful. But I feel like what they should be doing is they should be trying to just test as many times as they can with no issues. Like, sometimes there's a static fire and there's a very little issue. They swap out the engine and they think they can go, and that ultimately it goes with the fail. So I think they should just keep testing and testing and testing. What do you believe about that? Even though Elon Musk says if you're not failing, you're not innovating or something like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. They should definitely do like the static fire if they have a problem. But we just don't know. So we still don't see any ground venting. So my guess is we won't be having static fire for another 20, hopefully less than 20 minutes. But
I think it's 19 or 18, but
yeah,
it doesn't look like we're going to have it. We could have it tomorrow because they do have a road closure tomorrow, but that might be the flight TFR. I doubt they're going to fly without a static fire.
I think they might be able to static fire today. Although we will be able to do a stream because we both have to go at 5:30.
What
But
time does their the TFR? Not the TFR. Their
I think it's from maybe 8 a.m. to 9 or 8 p.m. Eastern time. Like something around that. So yeah.
But again, it should be happening pretty soon. But who knows? I mean,
Yep.
I don't think this will happen, but we'll see.
Yep. Okay. Guess we'll just have to wait here. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's talk more about space this week.
Oh yeah.
This week, well, it was last week, they launched to the International Space Station. They launched 4 astronauts, but let's talk even more about that. They picked the astronauts for Inspiration 4.
Oh yeah.
Which it's an all-civilian launch, which is going to happen soon. I mean, the people that got in, it's great. There were military men, there was cancer survivors, but many people were rooting for a space journalist and photographer. None of them got in that I could think of, but they did hire some of the space photographers to photograph the launch.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like we have ground venting. I can see a little bit in the back. Right over. I saw a little bit over here. Oh, there it is again over there. It's ground vent. Might even be farm vent too.
Yeah.
Still no update on that yet, but yeah. So we had clear around 3:28. Well, nothing has happened since, although I just saw some farm or ground venting. Then we'll have farm venting, and then we'll have condenser.
Yeah.
Then SM-15 will vent itself, engine will chill, and then siren and static fire. Although I don't think we'll be able to utilize or get. Well, I don't think we'll be able to stream that, but
yeah.
So now let's talk a little bit about Dear Moon. Lots of people applied for Dear Moon. Countless of people. I don't know how he's gonna be able to choose.
I actually applied for it. I mean, I doubt that would happen.
Oh, Nathan! Imagine you actually. That'd be cool if you got in.
Yeah, but I doubt that would happen. But
yeah,
because you had to put like your credit card or something. I think it's they want you to make like a donation or something. It was weird because it is a non-for-profit and they need some way to fund it, even though it is by a billionaire.
Yeah, I think his name is Yakamoose. What's your name?
I think it's Yusaka Masuwa.
Yeah, Yusaka Masawa. I mean, let's see, Dear Moon application. Let's see, let's see.
You can apply anymore.
Yeah, but still, look, they're like countless.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people were supposed to submit a video, but I didn't submit a video. But yeah, anything going on with SpaceX?
Well, I guess we're getting ready for Starlink in like 2 days maybe. I think at 12:05 a.m. Probably very nice for the mission controllers to wake up that early.
Yeah.
And then
that's like the beginning of the morning.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's before the beginning.
Well, no, it's in the morning because day starts.
Let me see. Okay, but they're also getting ready for hopefully an SM-15 launch tomorrow, pending successful
that would
sci-fi.
be nice. I mean, I doubt that's going to happen.
I'd rather it not happen because I have so much to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Although hopefully Wednesday or Thursday or even Friday.
I don't know if it would be Friday, but
Yeah. I think it will be like Thursday or Friday.
yeah, they usually launch on a Thursday, I noticed.
Yeah, I mean, SN8 was a Thursday, SN9 was not. SN9 was they seem to launch Tuesday and Thursday. SN8,
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, because SN8 was a Tuesday.
Oh, I thought it was SN8 one.
That was a Tuesday.
December 8th. What day of the week?
Gabriel, I have to go. I have something to do, so.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Looks like Nathan just left us. Oopsie. So SN. Come on. What day was December 8th? Tuesday. Yeah. So Tuesday. Tuesday. SN9 was Tuesday. SN10. What day did SN launch? March. What day was March 3rd? I think that was 2020. Wednesday. So it was Tuesday, Wednesday, and then what day did SN11 launch? I think it was Monday, so March 30th. What day was March 30th, 2021? That was a Tuesday. So, yeah, basically 3 Tuesdays and 1 Wednesday, and that was it. So we have had condenser, which means that we should have SN15 venting soon, although I'm going to have to go in like 5 minutes. So if it goes down to that, then we will have to say goodbye. We have seen ground and farm venting, although that Padre hasn't updated that yet. Okay. Yeah. If you have any questions, feel free to write in the chat. Okay. So yeah. We're hoping for an SM15 launch coming up soon. And soon meaning hopefully Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, my at least busiest days. And hopefully not tomorrow, because then I wouldn't be able to do a stream, but yeah, so I actually have to end it here, guys. So thank you all for watching. I'm gonna give you guys 30 seconds to get out of here. And we'll see you guys next time, hopefully for SM15's launch. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and goodbye.